Good morning, everybody. This video is more directed at the author of the Wing of Fire series. He's Tui T. Sutherland, and be posting this on our Facebook page. Anyway, Miss Sutherland, I recently read your latest book, the one on the new continent. And with the high wings, silk wings, and leaf wings, and that, and I found it as an interesting read. Not as good as some of the others, and kind of found certain details kind of questionable. Excuse me. And after I finished, I kind of read through, I kind of found. And that the character Clearsight it could be explored upon a little bit more, or like for example, like I'm just giving you ideas of what you could do with this trilogy. Like for example, the idea I had that when she traveled to the lost continent, and she is pregnant with Darkstalker's child, Elda, and she only discovered it shortly after she arrived. Which that in itself would create an interesting scenario for the character. And she has a actual link to Darkstalker, her and that, and make it more interesting. And this very child of hers has basically just about all Darkstalker's ability: a future sight, mind reading, and being ominous. Which actually creates a potential for like story wise. It's not just for maybe like a prequel book series, but as an element in this current one you're writing right now. Like say this child, which I'm gonna, and just for the sake of the book, I'll just say it's Darkstalker's daughter, Clearsight. This new character is Darkstalker and Clearsight's daughter here, who's just as ambitious as Darkstalker, and has many of his traits. It's something that Clearsight notices and fears she'll become just like her father, and in her efforts to try to prevent their daughter from becoming like her father, she inadvertently made her more like her father. And what's worse, she made her even more determined to seek out her father, and seek out her father and learn from him, and that, which naturally would terrify Clearsight. And in her efforts to, not make her like her father, Darkstalker, he creates this mother-daughter conflict between them that eventually swings way out of hand, and her daughter, being an Amnus, finally gets angry in that, and have a kind of interesting scenario that have her like point out, like with her mind reading ability, she realized that Clearsight had visions of not just her but her other siblings, and started accusing of Clearsight of actually murdering her siblings when she abandoned, and when she sealed up Darkstalker and abandoned Paria. Which would just make their relationship, which further strains the relationship to the point where this daughter seals Clearsight away. Keep Clearsight around and that, and in their searches is their daughter, Darkstalker and Clearsight's daughter, makes herself immortal. because she has not had much luck in finding her father. Here, uh, fast forward 2,000 years later in the current timeline, and you have a Darkstalker like character running around who's is much more experimentative. She knows the full limits of her powers, which is not very much to begin with. It's all the while having in her mother imprisoned and sealed within a pendant, or better yet, a painting, which would make kind of an interesting character moment, and a oh no moment when you actually see this character interacting. Like, for example, with the painting scenario, you have a group of characters who try to walk in on her, and they see her talking to this painting, and at first they think, oh, this girl is kind of crazy, and that she's talking to this painting, and when she leaves, they walk in the room, and when they have a closer look at the painting, they realize the painting was really Clearsight's prison, and Clearsight is desperately trying to get help to get freed. And then anyway, they'll actually try to free her, try to free her, but they're kind of locked in this certain situation, in where they need another Animus. Turtle not being overly confident in his abilities to bring her out, so they are left with one other candidate, and well, there's his sister too, is Animus, but yeah, you can make up some reason why she can't do it, like say she's too busy or she's just out of contact, but and so they're left with a conundrum situation where they go, oh crap, where they are faced with a predicament of bringing back Darkstalker, which to make matters worse is when they stumble across again, seriously, when they come across as their Darkstalker, his child, she learns of Peacemaker, and realizes that's really her father, trapped in a different form, and she very much intends to undo what they have done, and even actually makes a point, like for example, they get in a little conversation, and where the characters are going that she cannot bring back Darkstalker, the spell is permanent, and she points out the little loophole of the spell by pointing out if the spell was cast on Darkstalker. However, the loophole was she'd be casting it on Peacemaker, and thus the spell will work. It's a little loophole in the situation, something that the characters didn't quite realize when they sealed up Darkstalker in the first place. And so this will create an interesting scenario. And eventually a Darkstalker's daughter eventually tracks down Peacemaker and brings back her father, and makes it clear that to Darkstalker that he's his actual daughter, Kirsty's daughter, which naturally will get Darkstalker wanting to help her. But eventually the other characters catch up to Darkstalker and tell him what happened to Clearsight and what their daughter had done to Clearsight, and well, get Darkstalker to free Clearsight. Which that will make an interesting scenario in and of itself. With all these two characters have gone through all these years, Darkstalker being trapped underneath a mountain and Clearsight being trapped inside of a painting, being tormented by the daughter. But then, and also with Clearsight being back, you create even more story potential. Like, will Darkstalker and Clearsight get back together again? Have they forgiven each other fully of their sins? Will they ultimately redeem themselves? Will Darkstalker ultimately redeem himself to get Clearsight back, and will Clearsight really forgive him? And even make it even more interesting, Clearsight learns of what happened to the Nightwing tribe, all of her friends, and that from when she left. When she left Paria, and that she realized that her tribe were trapped on the side of this volcano. They came onto this volcano that was erupting all this time. Something that, knowing the character in her past, would make her feel incredibly guilty. Like, here she is, she ran off to a different land, and she was living in peace, that was this tribe, while all of her friends, her family, from her old life, were suffering, on this volcano. Like, that in of itself would create a great deal of guilt. But also, she'd be looking at the two continents, and she'll see the Highwing tribe that she supposedly created, and realize this thing has basically become a tyrannical dictatorship, basically just like what Darkstalker was going to create himself. And then she sees Paria, which much of this piece came about due to the descendants of Darkstalker, or more specifically Darkstalker's sister, and realize and get her asking what would her children and with Darkstalker been able to do, what she would have been able to prevent everything that happened to the Nightwings if she stayed. What would happen to this? Like, it would make her like feel like extremely guilty and everything. Like, there's like so much story potential right there. Like, just from Clearsight's perspective, of like the level of guilt she'd be feeling, like after learning what happened to the Nightwings and what her tribe had, what this new tribe she created had turned into, and everything like that. There's such story potential right there, the Slytherin, and it, like, I would personally like to see this. And with the whole Darkstalker and Clearsight's daughter scenario being basically the new series villain, it would create an interesting scenario for both Darkstalker and Clearsight, and what these two characters would do with their basically rogue daughter. Or would Darkstalker continually help have his daughter become his empress, or would he try to change her into being a better dragon? Like, there's so much you can do with that, with Sutherland, that it's, like, I'm just giving you an idea of what you could take this new series in, and personally I would like to see it, mostly because I'm a bit of a Darkstalker Clearsight shipper. Well, I like that particular dynamic, but it also create potential, like, for the character's ultimate redemption and story. And can Darkstalker truly come back from everything he's done? Will he actively change himself? Like, he learned from his memories from Peacemaker and tried to become a better dragon in that. And, well, Clearsight, she'd be dealing with her own guilt and that, realizing that she's almost just as guilty as he is in a lot of ways. It's, just a few ideas. If I'm a fan of your books, yes, Miss Sutherland. This is, I'm a fan of your books here, Miss Sutherland, and I think it would be actually interesting if you take it in that direction. I would like to see what you do with that. And also, I would like to hear your response too. Just from a very interested fan and of your stories. And I'd like to see what you think of them and hear what you think of these stories. Anyway, thank you for listening to some of my ideas. To my idea for where you could take the story to. And I hope you have a good day and happy writing. Bye.